Thanks, Trang, and welcome to today's Perspectives Live. News plays such a pivotal role in the decision-making process of many financial professionals, and sourcing the most up-to-date, reliable, and relevant information can make all the difference when you make the right trading or investment decisions. So I'm really excited to welcome our Customer Success Manager, Tom Williams, today to help us cut through the noise and really identify how you can access the right type of news to make the right decisions. Welcome, Tom.
Hi, thanks very much for having me here today. It'd be great to take you through the process of showing you a few new features in Eikon and hopefully a lot of stuff that you'll find useful.
Thanks, Tom. And perhaps to kick us off, can you tell us more about your background and what you're doing as a customer success manager?
Yeah, sure. So I've been with the company now for about 3 years. So as a customer success manager, my role is essentially to ensure that all of my clients are making the most out of our products. Predominantly, my focus is foreign exchange, so Eikon and the executable platform of FXT. So previously to that, I had a small stint platform provider in the power and gas market, and I also did 10 years for a multi-asset derivative broker in various roles. So coming up to about 14 years now in total.
So a pretty well-rounded background and experiences. And I know today you're going to take us through a demo of Eikon. Can you tell us more about how Eikon can be used to streamline news and really tailor the news sources that people need and are interested in?
Yeah, sure. So to jump straight into Eikon, I think first and foremost, there's a number of features that we can take you through today. I'll try and hone in on a couple of them. You should be able to see my screen now, and this is the top news app. If we take a look at Refinitiv Digest, so essentially what Refinitiv Digest allows you to do is to tailor-make your news to make it relevant to your workflow. It's a bit like someone giving you a newspaper that they've already read with your best interests in mind. So it's really, really useful feature, and you can find this within the top news app. So you just pop in top news, that'll take you through to this page, and the tab is on the left-hand side here. So just to take you through the process of creating a digest, if you click on create, you've got two options here. It's worth noting that if you've come across this before, it has been revamped. So there's plenty of new selections within the menu for you to choose from. It should be a lot easier than it was previously. So if we wanted to add some content, we can go into the top news. And then we're well aware that all of our clients have got a huge covering across multiple asset classes, and we try to break it down and summarize it in a few of these options here. So I favor foreign exchange. So just to take you through the FX side, we're going to come into markets. We're going to come into FX because that's my focus of interest. And then you can select essentially what you want to view in your Refinitiv Digest here. And then once you've done that, you can select a number of options as well. That will take you through to the next page, which is down the bottom within settings. And you can call it a name, and you can essentially select when you want it delivered to you. So you can have it in the morning, you can have it in the afternoon, whenever you like, really. But it's also worth noting that you can view the digest throughout the day. It's not just when you're getting a notification. And just to show you a few examples here, so I've done a couple for FX, stocks and commodities. So if we click on FX here, I can refer to this page, as I said, anytime I like. And I've got content specifically across some of the currencies that I've pre-selected in the menus that you've just seen. You've got the top news here across foreign exchange, because again, that's relevant to me. I don't want to see anything else other than foreign exchange data in this or news within this digest. And that's the whole point of it. We're kind of filtering out all of the noise. And on the right-hand side here, you've just got a news summary. That is probably the stuff that you can read throughout the day. But I think if a lot of the people perhaps watching are traders and they want live news as and when it happens. So what I'd show you here is the Newswire. So this is our news app, and this is essentially where you can pop in tags, again, that makes it relevant for you. So any news that's going to come in will be displayed within here. So currently I've got central banks or top news for foreign exchange. So every article that is noted or put out within Eikon has a number of tags associated to it. If you're struggling for ideas, what I'd probably advise to do is come to topics and then down to the news topic guide here. And you'll see this is essentially a glossary of tags that you can pre-select. And again, it's all broken up into asset classes. It's essentially the shopping list for your news, so to speak. So that is those are two key apps that I would probably turn your focus on in trying to tailor make the news and ensure that it's relevant to you.
Thanks. And since you mentioned you focus on FX, besides Digest and news, are there any other features that people can take advantage of to get the latest FX insights?
Yes, absolutely. So I'm going to bring you onto this tab here. And this tag in particular within the Newswire is called the FX Buzz News Service. I wanted to highlight this because this particular feed is all generated from a team of around 28 experts in foreign exchange. The key point to note is that they're not journalists. They're all ex-traders or ex-market analysts. And the whole purpose, again, is to strip out all of the noise. They've been in some of the viewers' shoes before, so they know exactly what you guys want to see. They're situated around all the FX hubs of the world in terms of the major ones, so New York, London, and Singapore. And they're producing content 24 hours a day, as you can see. They mostly cover the major currencies, but others in hot topic as well. So you've got Thai baht there as well, Turkish lira, and they also they're quite handy with their technical analysis as well, as you can see here. So you click in, and it gives you a good bit level of detail in this case on euro sterling, and you can click on the chart to expand it and view it if you wish. And for everyone that's watching, quite a lot of the time, they'll pop their names down the bottom, these guys. So, as I said, the key is that they're experts in their field. Feel free to reach out to them. You know, you could email them if you perhaps wanted some technical analysis. Maybe there's a new currency or new region that you're going into that you're not overly familiar with. I'm sure these guys would be more than happy to help either by email or on the messenger, Eikon messenger up there. So that's worth noting too.
Great, thank you. And how can people access product and content updates in Eikon? And are there any other features that you would point out as interesting?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's all well and good me saying our news is great, and we do have a good reputation in the market for our news content. But you don't actually have to believe me, even though I hope you would. We've created this app here called Spotlight. And so before I answer your question in terms of the updates and content, etc., this app essentially is the spotlight for our news. It's highlighting where we've exclusively reported on particular stories, or where we've broken news first before any of our other competitors. And as we all know, that's extremely important. We want the news delivered to our clients as and when it breaks, so that they can get ahead of the game, particularly the traders. Obviously, that is my focus. They need to know it as it breaks, so they can manage or risk manage their portfolio accordingly. If you scroll down here, you can see the various examples. And again, we've broken it all up into asset classes, where we've been first and where we've exclusively reported. Certainly worth checking this particular app out. All of the apps, by the way, that I'm going through today are listed down the bottom, and those are the names or the codes. You just pop them in here to bring it up. So in this case, you just type in Spotlight, and that will take you through to this page. Now, in answer to your question, where can you see recent updates? You can see within here we've got a couple of tabs. We've got product updates. So everything within Eikon that's in relation to news, the updates will be displayed within this page. So this is focusing mainly on the features within the various news content that we have. And then for those that are interested, we've also got content updates here. When that loads up, and my wonderful Wi-Fi, I'm sure it will come through in a minute, but the content updates, just to describe it to you guys, is essentially third-party news providers that we're using outside of just the Reuters journalists to give you a full scope of everything that's going on globally across, again, all of the asset classes and all of the global news topics too.
Thanks, super interesting, Tom. And I mean, COVID-19 has been top of mind for a lot of people. And I know there has been some updates in terms of apps within Eikon in response to that. Is that something you could kind of walk us through?
Yeah, again, that's kind of like in the top curated news pages. So this page is certainly worth keeping an eye out on, because it lists all of the relevant apps that we've generated depending on the topic of the time, if you like. So COVID-19, I'm sure we're all kind of sick to death of hearing about it, but if you need to know anything, absolutely everything you need to know is within this particular app here, highlighted within the top curated news pages. The COVID-19 app has got, you can see all these tabs at the top. So you can see the company news tracker, case tracker, market impact, everything that you need to know in relation to COVID is within this app. But this particular page here is also highlighting other apps that we've created over the time or that you may find relevant. So you can see we've got one elections, specifically for elections in 2021. You've got the Biden administration and also Brexit as well. For the viewers, it's also worth noting that it's not been popped in here, but I know it's in development. We will be having an app for the Euros, for those of you who like sport. It doesn't have to always be about work, so keep an eye out for that. We most likely will have one for future Olympics as well. So this is a perfect page to keep an eye on. Keep an eye on new apps that we're putting out there in relation to topical news at the time.
Well, let's hope the Olympics and the Euros are both going to take place, but definitely if they are, yeah. I mean, another area that's personally very close to heart for me is sustainable finance, and I think that's also a space that's increasingly becoming important in financial services. So is there anything that's focusing on ESG specifically within Eikon?
Yep, I think I've probably said it a few times throughout this chat. There's an app for that as well, and that's called Sustainable Finance. Believe it or not, took a while to come up with that name. Just pop in Sustainable Finance in there, and that will bring you through to this app itself. Massive topic in the markets at the moment. There's huge coverage and huge focus on it. This is a good starting page to explore the content in the sustainable finance space, as you can see. So this is the home page, spotlight publication that you might want to go through, ESG app on a chart there, and various information a bit further down. What will be useful is this particular page, is the apps and views. Now, the ESG or sustainable finance topic isn't necessarily my speciality, but I do know we are extremely strong in it. We have a database of ESG data. I think there's something around 400,000 data points on ESG globally. So it's certainly worth exploring what we have. Here's some of the apps that you can view. I'd encourage you to have a look at those. And on ESG itself, across every listed stock. If I could just show you, if you were to go into the stock overview page, and go to example Vodafone, usually is the case. We always have an ESG tab within the stocks. It doesn't seem to be loading, but I'm sure a lot of you out there are familiar with the company overview pages, and there's a vast amount of tabs at the top, and one of them is ESG. This should be coming through just shortly. My Wi-Fi doesn't let me down again. There we go. So all of these tabs at the top here is everything that you need to know about the stock that you've popped in. And then you've got the ESG tab here that I'd encourage you all to click on and explore if you had a focus on sustainable finance too.
Thanks, Tom. I think there was a bit of a lag, I think, with the sharing. I'm hoping I'm not echoing as well because I can hear my voice, but as always, audio issues, and that's something we've been quite familiar with the live streams. And thank you so much for walking us through all of this. I definitely can recommend viewers to check this out. A lot of the content I've been working on as well myself, so obviously I'm a bit biased. But I think I wanted to wrap up our conversation with the $1 million question, which is, what do you think really makes Refinitiv News stand apart from other sources of information?
Yeah, sure. I think the reason, I kind of alluded to it a little bit earlier. We do have a good reputation of news in the market, but it's not all well and good having to, just take my word for it. Refer to the Spotlight app, and the reason for it also is, we've been doing this for 170 years now. Back in the 1850s, where it all started, believe it or not, we actually used to use pigeons to fly news between exchanges in Europe. Fast forward onto modern day, we've got something over around 3,000 journalists globally that are working tirelessly to break news as and when it's delivered. It's a big number, but the point is that we've got a huge global outreach. All of these journalists are experts within their field, and they've got extensive and deep relationships with very authoritative figures, politicians, central bank governors, presidents, prime ministers, you name it, we have relationships everywhere. As I said, and that's really what makes us stand out from the crowd, is our global outreach and our history.
Thank you so much, Tom. I think this has been a really interesting demo, and I enjoyed our conversation. And I think for anyone that wants to find out more about Eikon, we will include, I think, a QR code on screen soon, and there'll be a link shared in the chat as well, so you can find out more or request a free trial. I think that's going to be coming soon. Yeah, I think it's on screen now. And to everyone else, thank you so much for tuning in today, and we hope to see you at our next live stream. Thanks and take care.